So today is kind of a surprise for Amanda, and what we're doing, or what I'm doing today, is I am heading to Home Depot because we've been talking about flooring the back, the garage space of our toy hauler. And so, yeah, I have a day off and I have a desire to do it. And so what we're gonna do is we're planning on putting in vinyl plank flooring with the floating, the floating vinyl plank flooring. And then also the other thing that I need to figure out, which is part of why I want to record this, because I'm assuming I'm not the only person, but we're gonna that ramp that goes down at the the ramp that goes down inside the actual garage space, that all your stuff sort of falls down and leans up against your doors, which is frustrating but necessary for a toy hauler, right? Like I have a Harley, you probably have a toy hauler for hauling toys of some kind. And so what we're gonna do is, the plan is I'm gonna do vinyl planking all the way up to the edge of that one seamless floor, and then I'm gonna build my little ramp. But I need my ramp, or my little for that ramp space, I'm gonna build my leveling spot so I can get some more livable workspace or back there, because we are not full-time on the road. We are full-time and we do travel, but so we do on the best of both worlds, and that's my challenge today to figure out. And so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna build the little insert to level out the ramp space. My challenge is I have to make it, actually I got a couple of challenges I got to figure out. One, when I put my flooring down, I need to still have access to my tie downs. I have no idea how I'm gonna do that. We're gonna figure that part out. I need to make it to where my ramp level is removable, so I can load my Harley when we do want to go places. And then I also need to figure out how I'm gonna seal that seam, because we do have dogs, and our new puppy that was just dropped off on the side of the road, Zuko, he's now a big puppy, he's 70 pounds. But we still need to make it to where we can clean up messes, which, in the perfect world we wouldn't have that happen, but sometimes puppies gotta go, just like a little kid, right? So yeah, I'm gonna go inside, I'm gonna buy some stuff. I think it's total, based off the math and building in my Home Depot app, I'm looking at probably about $600-$700 for this whole project. I'm sure it can be done cheaper. I could do laminate flooring, I could do the vinyl flooring, like that's just a mat. But I want it to be waterproof but still be usable. And so let's go shopping. We'll see how this works out. All right, so survived Home Depot. They didn't have everything that I wanted, but they did have some stuff that I needed. Okay, so been sitting here trying to figure out how I'm going to transition between the ramped part of the garage and the flat part. And I love the idea. However, what I don't like is the idea of having any kind of transition when the whole point is to have a flat space. So I think what I'm going to do is just make the boxed out part, level out the ramp, permanent, and then just order one of those little short ramp boards, like the ramp extensions when you load a motorcycle into the truck, and just set it down and just drive up on it. I think that'll be easier in the long run. And I'll have to worry about less moving parts and gluing down flooring or screwing in the flooring for the ramp extension that I was going to be able to take out. I think that's a much more cost efficient solution. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. Sort of a reversal. I definitely didn't like the idea, but I've been sitting here thinking about it. I'm like, that makes a lot more sense for me to just make a permanent extension and then just use a little like 3-foot piece of board whenever I load my bike. So yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. We were going to try and build this in such a way to where this whole section is removable. We came up with a better, what we think is a better solution for us, where we're just gonna get a little ramp that we can take in and out, but we're gonna square this out so that this whole piece, once this is all flat and floored, looks good. So the first thing you want to do if you're doing this modification or any version of this modification is you want to check for clearance. And lots of people will build it right up to the edge of this hinge right here. And what'll happen is the hinge itself actually rotates, but the doors close closer than that hinge sticks out. And so we want to make sure we leave lots of clearance. And in this case, because this door does flex, so in this case we want to make sure that we're not causing any damage or anything. We're going to leave it right like that. So, and that gives us about an inch or so of room from the doors and whatnot. So now that we know we got our clearance good, open this back up so we can get some light. And this is where having a partner will help you, because what's going to happen is I'm going to have Amanda come step and stand. Probably want to put both feet, because what we're looking to do is we're looking to see, hey, what's the flatness on this. Now this board is 3/4 inch thick. We're gonna over engineer it a little bit. So this board is 3/4 of an inch thick, and so we know we need to go 3/4 of an inch down from after our measurement. We're gonna measure what the measurement is at the bottom of this, as close to the edge as possible, which gives me 3 3/4. And so I'm going to subtract the thickness of the board. I know that puts me right at 3 inches. And then we're going to put that back up. We're going to do a quick measurement from where I can start to see a gap, and a gap where we'll have the wood braces, and that's 18.5 inches. So we got to make some angles. We're going to do 3 inch at the thick end, tapered down to the corner, and we got to make them 18.5 inches long. We cut our first 2 pieces. Now we got to make sure that we're actually doing everything right before we keep on trucking along, which means we need to cut an angle on our platform piece. And the only advice I can give you is, if you've ever cut with an angle, it's way easier to do it with a guide. And so what we're doing is we're just using an extra piece of wood we had laying around as a guide. And so that's what we're going to do now. So we're using the Pergo underlayment. And the nice thing about this is that what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay this next row out, flip this over, and peel off. It already has an adhesive edge. And that way this is just gonna become one big sheet, which is our next step. We're using the underlayment. It adds a little bit of an R value, not a lot, but it's gonna level out any imperfections. For example, we want this to still be usable if we ever choose to take the flooring up. So it's gonna level out all these imperfections. And that way this is a reversible mod other than just a bunch of little screw holes which are easily plugged. Well, we're almost done, but I did my toy. So luckily, I guess it broke because there was somebody just somewhere telling me that it was time for dinner because it's 8 o'clock. But
thank you, goodness.
To give you a quick preview, we're almost there. We just got two and a little bit of a cut, so it's too late to do that safely. Even like, yes, we could light up the whole world, it seems like, with our rig, but we are
safely and quietly not possible.
We don't want to get kicked out of the park, so we're done for the night. We'll check back in tomorrow. Okay, so we have our replacement tool, got our trim work, and we're gonna get back to work and get finishing on this beautiful 70 degree day. We got the floor in. I'm just gonna run along this and smooth this out to where it's flush with the boards underneath. I was in a hurry. Should have done it the right way the first time, but this will work. And then we're gonna use the remaining pieces to sort of just put a panel of boards on to face this. And then we ended up not getting an actual wood matching corner piece. We bought aluminum, like a piece of aluminum metal that we're gonna see if that works out, since we're gonna be riding the bike up and down. And we do want this end to be beefy. And the ones that were wood, I envisioned just like shooting out the back of the rig as I rode my motorcycle up. So yeah, now we're gonna clean this up and do the finish work. We used the router to smooth off any of the imperfections, made it all smooth and even. We did make one mistake because we forgot there was a gap right there, but good news is it's gonna be covered up. So the next thing we did is we just took any remaining pieces of scrap wood we had and measured for our end piece. And we were gonna, like I said earlier, we were gonna use a wooden end cap, but we ended up choosing to go with an aluminum end cap because that's just a really neat, solid little look for what we're trying to do. And so when we see this, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drill 2 holes. I'm gonna put 2 because I have my main support board, so I'm gonna put one here and one here. And then I'm just gonna work my way out as I screw along and screw this in. And I'm gonna do a row on the top and a row on the bottom. It's held in place and easily removed if we ever need to get access to fix anything or take it apart. So that's what we're gonna do now.
It is time to get our trim work laid down. Our floor looks beautiful. We've actually had it down for a few days, and in place of the trim work while we were ordering it, we actually put some painter's tape around the edge just to make sure no extra dog hair, water, dirt, anything else got in there. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and lay the whole trim work down, but I want to show you what we got. We got Insta-trim. It's about 10 feet long, and we ordered the wide, the 3/4 inch trim work because we had some larger gaps in some places, some smaller, so we just wanted to make sure that we didn't have to get different size trim. So we went with the 3/4 inch all the way around. This is what it looks like on the front. This is the back that you can see, and you just peel it off and stick it right against any surface. I'm curious to see how it's gonna stick and hold to the diamond plating. I did do a sample piece down here right underneath the door, and it seems to be holding up pretty well against the floor, but again, it's not really against the diamond plating. So I'm curious to see how that will hold up, and if it doesn't, we will try something else, but this looks promising, so I'm gonna get to it. Have finished up with putting the trim all the way around, and it looks pretty good. One tip that I do have for you is you do need to hold it down for a moment just to make sure that the adhesive really sticks, and it helps because my fingers got a little bit sore. I actually used the end of my scissors to kind of help press and push the adhesive into place, so I am hoping it will stick. I'm excited to see what it looks like, but overall it looks pretty flawless.